Hello. I was a federal worker who had 1 month left of her probationary period, and today I was told that I will be terminated at some point this week. I'm utterly devastated. I'm confused because my recent performance evaluation was exceptional and I got upwards of $1,500 as a bonus because my performance was so good. And this was my dream job, and it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless with their dog now. They don't care about our species that we're trying to conserve. That's exactly what my job was doing. It was just to assess habitat conservation for species for a 55-year habitat conservation plan. We should all be so mad right now. We should all be crying like this because I'm just devastated.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Y'all, working for the federal government these days is basically like the Hunger Games. You're just waiting to get chosen to get you up out of here, because I was laid off from my federal position, and I mean, I don't work there anymore, so I will just say what agency it was. I was laid off from the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and then but I already knew that the layoffs were coming. After the election results and Donald Trump won that election, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. I'm going to start looking for other jobs because I already knew that was coming. So I was laid off. A week later, I started a different position as a legal analyst in a different government job, and now that position has been rescinded as well. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm done with the federal government until we get a change of administration, because this is crazy. So I'm going back to being a private sector mommy because A, y'all not about to keep wasting my time, and B, I'm never going to go to the office in Washington, D.C. I live in Florida.
If you do not have a job and you've been looking for a job and you're taking your time, you better find a job and find a job quick and hang on to it. Do not quit. Do not budge. Do not move. With this federal worker layoff that is taking place, it can highly affect our private sector. And what could possibly happen is the private sector won't be able to absorb those who were laid off. And then you have to understand there's already has been a shortage of jobs. It's hard for people to find jobs even now in this economy. The economy right now financially is, it's overwhelming for many Americans. We are all overwhelmed with the high prices of food, just the high prices of everything. I don't think we understand how much it will impact our economy. It's going to impact our financial institutions, even your mom and pop stores, because if there is a lack of people working and in the workforce, and there's people who are looking for jobs and can't get jobs, people will not be spending money like that. People will begin to start being more frugal. They'll start watching how they spend. They will start having tight pockets. And the way that we normally are used to spending out, those days are gone. That will no longer take place. I want to remind y'all of something that the Bible says. In the seals, there are the horsemen, and one of them is the third seal, and it is a representation of a black horse. And it says, "Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the four living creatures saying, 'A quart of wheat for a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine.'" I just want to remind the saints, let me just remind y'all, in the 4th seal, there is a pale horseman, which it represents famine, is one of the things, famines and plagues. We must remember what the Bible says concerning these times. I hope y'all catch what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. Besides this, we have to understand what else is being cut financially for a lot of families, for a lot of different people. Okay, so there are resources that moving forward will not be in place as well. I don't know what else to say without saying what I'm trying to say. because they be having stuff under review. My videos be under review so much. I will say this. There is a lot of layoffs that is happening. And financially, those people are used to a certain way of living, a certain financial way of living. And the impact that this will have over every sector of this world, every business. This is not a time to be spending your coins, okay? What you used to do, high and falutin, getting on planes. I have to preach tonight over I gotta get on an airplane and go to Atlanta. All of that. I'm the psalmist, I'm the specialist, all of that, flying on planes and just doing random stuff. Go find you a job and go find you a job now and keep it. That's what I want everybody to do. Keep your job, because what is getting ready to happen, it will impact so much of our economy. I have other things that I can say on that, but I can't. But all this highfalutin, buying shoes, buying your favorite bag, them nights, them days is over. Okay? That should not even be a thing. Save your coins. Get you some coins in your house. Just start throwing the little pennies in there. Save your coins. Because the way this is looking, we all finna be hungry, okay?
So, y'all, I was on the way to my dentist appointment this morning. Listened to an audiobook, Real by Kennedy Ryan. The roads was clear. Nobody was pissing me off. The weather is nice. The sun is out. Y'all was just overall in a good mood. Then I get a call from my boss's supervisor. Y'all, when I tell you, my heart dropped. I mean, plunged without warning. So I answered the phone, and he's like, "Good morning, Briosha." Y'all, he the only one that still call me by my full name. But anyways, he's like, "Good morning, Briosha. Today's your day off?" I'm like, "Yes, sir. Today's my day off." He was like, "Well, I just call you back Monday." No, I got time today. Like, what's going on? We could talk right now. So he's like, it's nothing business related. It's just personal. You should have led with that, sir. But he's like, yeah, nothing business related, just personal. I just want to call and see how you're doing with everything that's going on. Just a wellness check. Y'all, when I say that I have never, like, my mood has never been up, down, and back up in a matter of seconds. Oh my goodness. I thought I done got fired on my day off, y'all. I thought I done got the boot. Yeah. But anyways, on a serious note, if you and your family have been affected by everything that's going on, y'all are in my prayers. I know it may not seem like it now, but there is something greater on your path. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. But where I got y'all here, let's go ahead and do a little dog. So my drink, I just got a little water in my bottle here. Outfit, I got something casual on, a little sweatsuit, trench coat. I got the sweatpants to match my jacket here. And I'm currently listening to Real by Kennedy Ryan on my Kindle here. So yeah, what are y'all currently reading? Y'all let me know. But y'all, it's still a good day. Thankful.
Are y'all okay? Because as someone myself who has never, ever worked a day in my life in the public sector, seeing folks who work in the private sector celebrate federal workers losing their jobs and getting laid off, are y'all okay? You do realize that these are highly skilled, highly trained, highly educated people that you will now have to compete with in the workforce to get a job? These same people who were probably doing more than you and getting paid less, who are now going to compete for your job and might just be okay getting paid less? Why are you celebrating? I'm genuinely confused who you think the government was employing. Do you know how competitive those jobs are? The lack of thinking right now. I just...
So all of these federal job layoffs have me asking this one major question.
Okay, so all these probationary employees have been let go. I think I've seen a number of like upwards of 200,000 people. Specifically, I've also seen that apparently there have been some layoffs in the IRS during tax season, during peak tax season at that. So I'm just curious about like who's going to do these jobs now that you've eliminated these positions. Additionally, why was the option to choose that they had like unsatisfactory performance reviews, or they were let go because of performance? Why is that the choice that you chose, especially when these people have documentation of the fact that they've had wonderful performance reviews? I'm asking these questions because I'm just curious about how any of this is legal in the grand scheme of things. If you say that somebody has been let go because of performance, do you have to then notate what the reasoning was? Does that impact them being able to get unemployment? Additionally, largest question here, you've let all of these people go, and so now what you did was you spread the employees that you allowed to stay employed, you spread them far and wide now. Now you have increased their workload. Now you have pretty much negated their work-life balance. You already did that when you made them go back to work. Oh yeah, remember, you still got all these people going to work every day, but they don't even have a place to actively work because the facilities cannot accommodate them. And so if you have to still build new facilities or find new facilities, where exactly are you saving money, especially if you still have to pay all of these individuals that you just let go unemployment benefits? Now, I get it. The other thing that I've seen is that the people who chose the deferred resignation, some of their requests are being denied because their particular position does not qualify for the deferred resignation. Well, ding, 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 ding. Shouldn't you have said that when you sent the deferred resignation? It should have only been sent to people who qualify for it. And then there are like certain caveats of like certain positions won't be eliminated. But then I'm starting to notice that you're eliminating positions that contribute to the safety of this country. I've also seen that it's like some science focused roles like NASA, like different medical research, like for cancer and AIDS and things of that nature. So what happens when these things become an issue that you created? So when the bottleneck of the IRS processing claims doesn't happen in a timely fashion, explain to me what happens then. When the safety of our country is compromised because we don't have the people in place that are supposed to maintain the checks and balances of our safety, who's going to handle that? When there are some things going on in space, I think I heard somebody say something like there is some kind of asteroid in the air or something. The chance of a meteor shower or something has increased by like a percentage. It's only like 3%, but still. When you fire all these people, who's going to pay attention to that and who's keeping up with that? Let's also not forget the FAA still ain't got no leader and the plane steady crashing off the sky. Who's going to help us with that? Air traffic control, jam-packed. They can't even pay attention enough to send notifications back and forth because there's too much going on at one time. They don't have enough of them. And that was already an issue even before this now. I'm just trying to understand when America will be great.
Hey guys, so I really debated on if I was going to share this. I do feel like this may be helpful to someone. So if you are a federal employee or were a federal employee who was terminated and you believe you were wrongfully terminated, please listen to my story, pass it along, share it with somebody, because it may get their job back. So basically Friday, my husband arrived to work very early and received an email that he was terminated. My husband has been a federal employee for nearly 10 years, including his military service. Recently, he did switch federal agencies that did place him in a probationary period. However, he was tenured as a federal employee. So he was a little confused when he got the email, immediately called his supervisor, who, fun fact, did not know he was terminated. So he's caught off guard. It was like, your name wasn't on the list. I don't know what's happening. Let me make some calls. So my husband decides to keep his ID in his laptop because he too knows that he should not be terminated based off our understanding of what the executive order was. So he ends up emailing some people, and they conclude that he was erroneously terminated and rescinded the letter, and thankfully still has his federal position. We were a basket case Friday. When I tell you, I barely made it through my workday, blubbering, crying, canceling all things that we have the luxury of paying extra on. But like, had he just took it for what it was, turned over his computer and his ID, we would be down to one income. And my heart truly goes out to all the federal employees who did lose their job. But if you are somebody who you know that you were tenured and not new to the federal agency in that probationary period, please advocate for yourself. Figure out how to meet with your supervisor again to get in there and like truly push back, because I'm afraid my husband is just one example of what happened to a lot of other people. But keep your heads up. We're going to figure it out. And yeah.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
What the fuck is wrong with some of y'all, man? I've been seeing all the news about all these federal workers that have been getting fired, laid off, people that are on probation, people that aren't even on probation, that, some people resigned that were in higher positions because I'm pretty sure they didn't want to break the law. But I've been looking at like the news on TikTok and on other stuff, on other platforms, looking at videos on here. Some of you people are just terrible people, honestly. I've been seeing in some of the comments, people were saying like, oh yeah, go Trump, go Elon. Like, these people just lost their jobs. I saw another video, it was a couple days ago. This woman was talking about all the houses that were for sale in Washington, D.C. And this one woman was talking about, oh, these houses are worth millions of dollars. I wonder how they got it on their government salary. Like, these people haven't potentially been living there for years and they bought the house cheaper and it's just appreciate. Like, people don't understand appreciation of an asset. It's ridiculous. And then I responded to somebody talking about this, and this bitch gonna say, oh, I'm glad, like, if I have to suffer, or like basically saying, oh, if I have to suffer, so do they. Like, we all have to suffer through and manage all these cuts that are happening because of Doge. Like, what the fuck, bitch? What the fuck is wrong with you people, man? Y'all just on here just saying stupid fucking shit, man. Shit talking federal workers, people that have to, like, y'all clearly don't know how it works to get hired and have not had to navigate USA jobs and how difficult the requirements are. You have to have the resume tweaked a certain way. But you stupid ass hateful bitches come on this app laughing and enjoying that people are losing their jobs, cheering that shit on. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man? Like, damn, bitch, just because you hate your fucking life and your job doesn't mean everybody else has to suffer just like you. Just because you got fucked, not everybody else needs to get fucked. You hateful, dirty fucking bitches.
So I got to work today at 3, and morning shift was still here. They don't get off until like 4:15, some shit like that, or whatever. But yeah, so as they about to get off, they get a message basically telling them to meet in a fishbowl. They gotta have a meeting. And they had a little meeting. They come back out and they're snapping, crying, slamming shit because they got fired and whatnot. All probationary employees got fired today. Basically, tomorrow is technically my last day. Me knowing and working and still having to come to work. Gotta bring my equipment back to work. Being a federal employee sucks. Whoever voted for that motherfucker, like, to be in office, and as soon as he got in office, the first thing he do is do all this. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make no sense. Yep, so that sucks. Being a federal employee is trash right now. My job was literally on the line for a while. I knew it, but this shit is real now. Because after tomorrow, I no longer have a job due to this shit. Yep.
So I don't agree with Trump firing 200,000 federal employees. Like, dude, come on. 200,000 in a week? That is insane. I can understand like 15,000 in a year or so. You know what I'm saying? But 200,000 in a week? There will be all kinds of problems that come from this action. So many things will happen. Now that you have fired all of these hundreds of thousands of people, who will do these jobs now? A lot of these jobs are needed. Someone has to do these jobs. Who is going to do them? And now we have to compete with all of these people in the private sector. Now we have to compete with them. All of these people, hundreds of thousands of people who are skilled, who have experience. We are so cooked. This was a very poor planned action. Very poor plan. Come on now. Think first and then slowly act. You don't just act like that. It's foolish.
You know what I've been finding real interesting about what's going on with all these layoffs and firings of all these federal workers? First, you told these people they had to come back in office. They can no longer be remote. You told them they have to be in office to work. Then you told these people that of your own probationary status, then we no longer need you because you're on probation. And all these MAGA folks, and what's been really clear to me and was what these people are not understanding, they are equating probation to being in trouble or being a bad worker. They're not understanding the federal hiring process. They're not understanding that somebody who has probably been with the federal government for years and they decide to get a higher position, they are on probationary status. And some of the probation status or probation periods can last up to 2 years. And they're also not understanding that federal jobs are not easy. They're not easy to get. They are highly, 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 highly competitive. So let's think about this. You are celebrating people losing their jobs, having to file unemployment, and having to get back in the workforce and compete against you. Compete against you at your job, where they're probably going to let you go because we have somebody that was hired by the federal government who has more experience and a higher rating than you. Let's think about that. So yes, that's what I have come to understand. That these people really think probation equals, they think of it like probation, like a criminal. They think probation means bad, or that you haven't been good enough to be hired, when they don't realize that the probationary periods last longer than a normal private workforce, public workforce. That's totally different. Like, are y'all really that slow? Oh, and let me say this. I saw one lady that was excited about the IRS laying off those probation status people. And she had the audacity to say, oh, well, those people, well, maybe those who are left can really put in a decent day's amount of work and get our tax stuff done. Come again? Ma'am, if they're cutting the workforce, what makes you think those people are going to pick up the slack? Let's think about that. What makes you think they're going to pick up the slack? If 100 people are required to do a job to get it done in time, and you cut that by 75%, so only 25 people are still in office, do you think 25 people are going to, what is, first of all, considered a decent amount days of work? A decent amount of work. What is that? And also, you think 25 people are going to be doing the job of what? The other 75 people who are no longer there to get your tax stuff done on time and out to you, your tax refund? That don't make no sense.
Y'all aren't making any sense. Y'all don't think. Y'all aren't thinkers. Common sense is not your forte. You're cutting the federal workforce. Those people have to file unemployment and compete against you for regular jobs. I would say use your brains, but the ones you're using isn't working properly. So let's get it all together. And this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing at all.
I'm sitting here. I don't want to cry, but I feel like the tears are going to start rolling. But I just got an email from a manager telling me to come into the office tomorrow and bring all my government issue equipment. So I'm thinking that they laid me off. I've been working with the IRS for a couple months now, and I just don't understand how this is legal. I have a daughter, I have responsibilities, I have bills, and he just comes and lays people off. How does he sleep at night knowing that he's taking income away from so many families?
Man, I thought the unemployment rate in the job market was bad before, but now it's going to be really bad with 220,000 people fired by Donald Trump. Make it make sense. He was supposed to give us cheaper eggs, give us cheaper grocery prices, but yet the first thing he does is firing hundreds of thousands of people from the government. A lot of them that he mistakenly fires and begs for them back not 24 hours later, especially in the case of the avian flu like he just did. And groceries are at an all-time high. Eggs are $8 where I live right now. And the federal workforce is now entering the unemployment lot, and we all don't have a chance at like any jobs. I would just love for you guys to explain what you guys voted for, because I'm not seeing a lot of you guys getting what you voted for at all. I'm only seeing him tear down the entire systems that we're all functioning on, and then the next day begging for half of those employees back because he's so uneducated he has no idea who he's even firing.
By the way, you ain't gonna get no money if you take that buyout. You know that, right? The government still does not have a budget. We still don't have a budget. How are they gonna pay you with money we don't have? And it's so convenient. It's so convenient. The crazy part is they're trying to get rid of as many workers as possible. So they're creating this whole little, well, if you quit and you resign, we have this whole little package wrapped up for you with a little bow. However, you can only choose this option within the next 7 days. Mind you, the budget is going to be solidified in March, April. You're not getting that money. And they're playing in your face. I hate to be one of those people that say, if it sounds like it's too good to be true, then that means that it is. But let's be so fucking honest, it's the American government. In what world? This is also, illegal. They shouldn't be doing this shit. The fact that they're quite literally had sent an email with a resignation letter inside the email for people to resign that day and within that week, when the housing and job markets are absolute abysmal right now. The whole point is to have y'all quit, and then when y'all don't get your money at the end of the day, you can't really complain because they're gonna be like, what do you mean? You quit. I don't have to pay you anything because you quit. You resigned. You chose to leave. I don't have to pay you shit. And that's exactly what they're banking on. Do not quit. Do not quit your black job. Keep your black job. If they want to get rid of you, let them fire you.
Hi everyone, please pardon my appearance as it is after 4 a.m. on Tuesday, February 18th, and I wanted to come on here as one of the thousands of federal employees who lost their job with the federal government this weekend. More specifically, I was removed from my position through an email from an unrecognized HR account from my agency around 1 p.m. on Saturday of this holiday weekend. No one within my chain of supervision was involved in this decision. I have gone through the entire range of emotions this past weekend. There is a lot of sadness in my heart. There is also a lot of anger. The firing of thousands of federal employees across the government is going to have detrimental impacts on regular people like yourself watching this video. My position with my healthcare agency was involved in Affordable Care Act, health insurance marketplace policy and operations. And so I was one of the people regulating health insurers to make sure that they were not selling you junk insurance, making sure that they were covering all the benefits that they had to cover, charging you a fair amount of cost sharing, making sure that they weren't discriminating against you based on your health conditions or health status. And with fewer people like myself in the government, you can imagine the impact that that will have on the regulation of massive corporations. And I think that's part of the point of all of this. I have gone back and forth all weekend with what comes next for me. I was a dentist before moving to DC. I graduated from dental school and put my clinical career on pause in order to move here and try to make a difference. I wanted to make dental care more accessible and affordable for people, and I felt like I finally had that opportunity in this job that I was just let go of. One of the hardest parts of all of this is that I don't know if I've really made a difference. I'm really at a loss for direction right now in what I'm doing with my life, and I'm really not sure what comes next for me, but whatever it is, hoping to make the best of it, as we always do, and really appreciate all the love and support of people out there who recognize just how cruel this is. I'm sending love to all of my federal workers out there who are either hanging on to their jobs still or were just let go this weekend. I know the pain that you're feeling, and you know, the entire network has been so supportive, and I want to offer that same support to all of you. If there's any lessons to be drawn from this, it is that we do not need the richest people in the world controlling our government. Our government is supposed to be for the people, and the only purpose of all of this is not to decrease the federal deficit or decrease spending like they're claiming. We make up such a small portion of federal government spending. It's really to decrease regulation and allow businesses to go unregulated and take control of the economy. So I think we're in a really dark time, and it's going to take a lot of work for all of us to rebuild from this, but I am committed to doing that work in whatever role comes next, and I hope you all understand the gravity of this moment and do your own part to chip in. So I don't know what else to say, but for now, just wanted to share my story and send my love to anyone else going through this. All right.
Someone please explain to me why all it takes is locking federal employees out of the building. Why is it that all it takes is for a non-elected foreign adversary and his 19-year-old cronies to go into a government building where they send out all the payments and just lock all the employees out of the building? You're telling me that he who should not be named and his little billionaire buddy were able to get a bunch of police to stand outside of the door and block Democratic officials and employees of that federal building from entering? And that's all it took for them to gain control of like all the money of the federal government. How is that possible? I was under the impression this whole time that even though they weren't really doing their job right now, at least we still had 3 branches of government. But apparently no. All you need is the keys to the building and a police officer willing enough and dumb enough to stand in front of the door. Don't these employees have passcodes? I'm so utterly confused right now why any of this is actually working. Aside from the obvious fact that Donald Trump has gotten the Department of Education up his butt and around the corner. If all it took was Elon Musk locking people out of the building, this country never, ever even had a pot to piss in to start with.
Child, we done woke up to mass layoffs last night from Lord. Okay, so if you have fallen into the category of being laid off, here's some things that you should either be trying to do or should have done prior to. So first things first, if you do not have your personnel records out of your electronic personnel file, so your EOPF. Try to access that if you still have system access. If not, you can go to the National Archives to access all of your records. For 2, if you are trying to transition into another federal agency that is still hiring, dust your resume off. And I would recommend, like, I know there is the whole federal resume is supposed to be long. Your federal resume should not be more than 4 to 5 pages. Like, the whole streamline it. It's time to streamline. Your resume should be impact statements only. What have you done in this job? Because now you are competing and it is cutthroat. Okay, so you need to review your resume. And if your resume is just listing your job duties at what you did, that is not going to be sufficient. What you need to be doing is making your resume quantitative, having all your impact metrics, how you've changed the organization, what impact did you bring to the organization, and still including those KSAs. So remember, not all agencies fell under the hiring freeze or the layoffs. So there is still plenty opportunity out there. I posted yesterday about the Army. Like, we get vacancy announcements every day almost, like emails trying to get people into different positions. So there is still ample opportunity on USA Jobs. You just kind of have to look and see if you are willing to relocate, because this might be the time that you have to look at that as well. But your resume has to be top notch. I would recommend, again, no more than 5 pages. I know people have been saying, like the video I posted yesterday, they was like, well, that's already a thing. Not for everybody, not for every organization. Okay, we still see people submitting 8-page resumes. Okay, now there's going to be an influx of people trying to apply. Even though there are layoffs, people are still going to try to apply to other agencies. So make sure that your resume is in the best shape that it can be in, so that you are more competitive in this current market. Or if you are trying to transition your federal resume to a private sector resume, what you're going to focus on, again, is quantitative metrics. How have you made an impact in the jobs that you have done? A lot of jobs federally probably don't translate to private sector, or could. I would also recommend looking at maybe contracting. If you've laid off, try to find a contracting job that's still in federal service, because then you know that your skills can translate over into that as well. So we'll talk more, we'll get more into stuff, but we gonna get through this, y'all.
In any company, when the company is overspending and is in debt, they have to slash costs. This is where layoffs happen. I am really confused at why we as Americans don't understand that's what's happening with the federal government and the thousands of people who are losing their jobs with the federal government. No one likes layoffs, but we are talking about the same employees that they begged to come back to work after the C word, and you absolutely refused. You didn't want to come back to work. You wanted to protest about coming back to work. You wanted to talk about how unfair it was to go back into the office when the government's paying millions of dollars a year for that. We are literally spending, I want to say 21, we spent $2.4 billion for immigrants. 2022, we spent 3.4. 23, we spent over $10 billion on immigrants. Last year, it did drop to just under $5 billion on illegal immigrants. You guys don't want to come back to work. It's too many of you. It's not as many employees that's needed. We are overspending as a country. So when you were protesting, when you were upset about us wanting to get rid of illegal immigrants and close the borders, you didn't realize that your country that you worked for, the money was leaving. The money has to come from somewhere. And so therefore, all this overspending, about billions, have happened. And now as federal employees, we have to start slashing because the country, we don't have any money. We don't have any money. You guys got to be in debt in real life, in your real life, because you keep wanting to overspend. I get it. It's going to be hard on those people who lose their job. But Over 2 million people were offered a buyout and only 75,000 accepted it. I don't know who needs to hear this, but when buyouts are offered, it's because you go get out of there anyway. Your best bet is to take the buyout because you're leaving anyway. It's happening. We're cutting costs. We as a country are in trouble, and you would rather us running in the red than accept the fact that a few will have to suffer because of the actions that the administration that we just came out of put us in. They put us in situations that forced the hand. Or do you want us to keep creating more debt and more issues? I have so much empathy for the people who are losing their job. As an entrepreneur, I've been feeling it for a few years now with the other administration. I know what it's like to feel like, oh my goodness, what is happening? But the reality is, as a country, we can't afford it. And you need to downsize when the money is not there. You have to downsize. So keep your little protests, get over it.
Guess who just got fired via phone call? Me! I was a forestry technician for the USDA Forest Service, and my crew dealt with timber sales and management. So think salvage sales, wildfire mitigation, American lumber product, forest and ecosystem health. So I was still in my probationary period, and I was 3 months away from getting my 1 year. I have put 5 years of my career into public service and natural resources, and this is how we are getting treated right now. Now, my supervisor can't answer any of my questions, like what's going to happen to my last paycheck because they're going to log us out and we won't be able to put in our time. What's going to happen to my health insurance? Am I going to get my separation form, my final one? Because I need that paperwork to apply for unemployment. And these are not merit-based firings. All of my performance reviews my entire career have been stellar, nothing under fully successful. And the legality of this is questionable at best. So I guess if anybody knows any good federal employee lawyers or anyone I can talk to about this, because yeah, this is definitely making my life a lot harder right now. I had to get put on anxiety medication because of all of this stress. It kind of felt a little bit like a weight was lifted off my shoulders when I got the phone call, because now I don't have to worry if I'm going to be fired anymore because it already happened. But, you know, just fucking ridiculous. It's very much giving tech bro layoff. And for those who don't know, there are certain processes and procedures that must be done before a reduction in force can be enacted. And according to my supervisor, they had zero prior knowledge that this was about to happen. So let's see what happens next, I guess.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.